I wanted to talk for a moment about aspect ratios, particularly dealing with cinema. What I mean by that is the ratio of the width of the image to the height of the image. Right now you're looking at a 16:9 ratio. So for every 16 units wide it is 9 units high. Now, in the early days of cinema, it was 4:3, which was great until television came, so the screens started getting wider in order to give you something that you couldn't get at home. And initially the way to do that was with large format film, which is amazing but extremely expensive. The cameras, the film stock itself, the post-production equipment, and the projectors that not everybody could afford. So they started to find ways of getting widescreen images on 35mm film, most notably two ways. CinemaScope, ratio of 2.35:1. What they did was horizontally squeeze the image onto a 35mm frame, and then the projector would expand it back out to normal. You can tell this is a newer movie because it's a strange color and abnormally dark. But the much more common method was flat 1.85:1, which was done by simply masking off the top and bottom of the frame and enlarging it more, which, as you might imagine, was not as good a quality, but it's a lot cheaper. The lenses are smaller, lighter, less expensive, and really the image was fine because film stocks by this time had improved quite a bit. So when you would go to a theater, you would see, under most circumstances, the flat 1.85:1, which again was fine. But when you would see usually a higher budget film, the curtains would draw back, revealing more of the screen, and it would get wider. And so we've subconsciously equated this to bigger budget, particularly epic films. So the whole point of this rant is dealing with video. Starting around the 90s, people started shooting a lot of content on video instead of film, which is fine, except they were cropping the top and bottom of the image, I guess, to give a subconscious illusion of a bigger budget than they really had. But the problem with that is the screen doesn't get wider, you just lose the top and bottom of it, and that carries over even to digital cinema now, where the screens are generally about 1.85:1, and even if they are shooting with anamorphic lenses to horizontally squeeze it, the projectors can't unsqueeze it, so they have to digitally squeeze it vertically and just simply lose the top and bottom of the screen when it's projected. So you waste a lot of space. My proposal is to retire the 2.35:1 aspect ratio and simply shoot at the native aspect ratio of the camera and don't worry about it. Use the whole screen.